The Central Division might just be the hardest division to play in all of sports, but especially in the NHL. That division has the top three teams in the entire NHL, with the other five teams not that far away from being just as good. As we continue our little mini series in What Do Sports Teams Want for Christmas this holiday weekend, we take a look at what each of the eight Central Division teams in the NHL want for Christmas to just stay in the race of a playoff spot. That is right, everybody. Welcome back to Inside the Zone with Mateo. We are continuing our little mini series as we started a couple days ago of taking a look at what teams want for Christmas as we're approaching Christmas. It is December 23rd, 2025. I appreciate you guys watching. And if you haven't already, please hit the like button, hit that subscribe button. We're trying to get 50 subscribers by Christmas. 100 subscribers is our next goal after that. And then whatever comes next, we're trying to grow our channel. And, I'm posting a lot, and I would appreciate the heck out of you guys if you would hit that like button, hit the subscribe button. Trying to grow my channel. But yeah, let's just get right into it. So, as I said, we are taking a look at what does each Central Division team want for Christmas. It's a little NHL Central Division check-in as well. And we go to Mateo's show batting order. Mateo's show batting order presented by To Be Determined. If you would like to sponsor this little segment here, I use it every single podcast. Let me know. Send me an email. Send me a DM on Twitter, or use one of the Google Forms in the description of my channel. You can find my email in the description of my YouTube channel as well. But it's really simple. It's what do they want for Christmas? And then, of course, at the end, before we sign out, I will give you a quick rundown of what else is coming up the rest of December of 2025, as we have been for the last couple of weeks. But yeah, what do they want for Christmas? That's really all it is. So without further ado, let's get over here to the standings of the NHL. And as I said in the little intro, the top three teams in the NHL right now are from the Central Division. The Colorado Avalanche, who are 26-2-7, absolutely ridiculous. The Dallas Stars, 25-7-5, and your one and only Minnesota Wild are 22-10-5. All within 10 points of each other. The Stars are within 4 points of the Avalanche. The Wild are within 6 points, I believe. Yes, 6 points of the Dallas Stars. But then when you take a look at the division standings, you see, the Avalanche, the Stars, the Wild, but then the Utah Mammoth, 10 points behind the Wild. The Blues are 3 points behind them. The Predators, not the worst team in the league anymore, with 34 points. The Jets, surprisingly, are 7th in that division at 33 points. And then the Chicago Blackhawks, with, Connor Bedard being out, have now slipped all the way back down to last place in that division. We could talk about the other divisions, but really, that's not what we're going to do. It's all about the Central Division today, as it is the division my favorite hockey team plays in, and it's just what we're talking about, because it could be. You could make a case that it is the hardest division to play for or in all of sports. We could have future discussions about that some other time. Let me know that down in the comments if you want an episode on what division in sports is the hardest to play in. I feel like we could do that eventually, maybe come January or February. But yeah, this division, overall, you've had some pretty historically good teams as well. The Blackhawks were good with Patrick Kane and Jonathan Toews. The Jets always seem to be pretty good. The Predators had a couple good years. The Blues with Tarasenko and Ryan O'Reilly, Jordan Binnington's still there. Utah is now all of a sudden emerging with some young stars like Clayton Keller, Logan Cooley. And then you got the Minnesota Wild, who have had the historic Andrew Brunette story. The Kirill Kaprizov has been here forever. You got Brock Faber, Matt Boldy. You had the recent Quinn Hughes trade. But they've been good throughout their 25 years of existence. And the Dallas Stars, formerly the Minnesota North Stars, have been in the league for a while. So have the Colorado Avalanche. Both have been historically good as well. And overall, maybe one of these teams have been bad. In the media's eyes in like the last couple seasons, but overall, you could have made a case the last couple of years that any of these teams could have made the playoffs. Obviously, it's limited to who can make the playoffs, but in that sense, it always seems to be a very tight division race here. I don't know if the division race itself is going to be tight, but once we hit into wild card matchups, we could see for sure. I believe 6 teams from the Central Division make it, not 6 teams, 5 teams, excuse me, because there are 3 division spots and then 2 wildcard spots. And I just don't see, 4 of the Pacific teams making the playoffs. I think the Ducks, the Knights, and the Oilers will probably end up making the playoffs. Sharks can maybe slip in. Kings can maybe slip in, but I'd take the Mammoth and maybe even the Blues or Jets, in my opinion, over some of those teams. But we'll see how it shapes up later on in March and April. But overall, this division is really good. I mean, Colorado's getting all the views because they have only lost 2 times in regulation. They have lost 7 times in overtime or shootouts. But 26-2-7, I mean, that's respectable. You got to respect that record. And then you got the Dallas Stars right behind them at 25-7-5. And then the Minnesota Wild, who right now are currently 7-3 in their last 10, coming off a loss against the Colorado Avalanche on Sunday. It was a little sad. They kind of got outplayed. Yes, they were on the second game of a back-to-back they had on Saturday. They had a really tough game against the Edmonton Oilers, and then Colorado hadn't played in a couple days, but so they were a little more fresh. But still, I mean, they were in them until they weren't. I think they played a solid half. First half of the game was really well, about a period and a half, but then their legs got tired, and it is what it is. They lost. They still have 2 more games against the Avalanche. They've split it so far. They've split their first 2 games, so who knows what might happen later on. I think they split against the Stars so far as well. So, nobody's nobody is the clear favorite right now because people can beat each other. So it's gonna be really interesting to see. But we'll talk about what they want for Christmas. But it's also kind of here a little check in to see how they're doing. So let's talk about the teams who aren't the top 3, because the media is talking about the top 3 teams, obviously, maybe even talking about Utah, but the bottom 4 teams people aren't talking about as much. The Blackhawks, the Jets, the Predators, the Blues. So we'll talk about them a little bit, show them a little love. The Chicago Blackhawks. Let's start that. Let's start right there. The Chicago Blackhawks currently sit, at 13-16 and 16-6. They were doing well. But they are on an insane losing streak right now. They're 2-7-1 in their last 10, and much of that is because Connor Bedard got hurt, and he's out for a while. So Bedard got hurt on a couple weeks ago, and he's not expected to return until mid-January. So in that case, if they continue to lose, without Bedard, because it's looked like this team ran through Connor Bedard. Connor Bedard this year, before getting hurt, how many games did he play? He played 31 games. He had 19 goals and 25 assists. He was a +8. He was averaging about 21 minutes a night. And he was just solid. And he's also a center, too. So now they don't really have a great center. The next goal leader besides Bedard was Bertuzzi. Bertuzzi has 16 goals, but then it drops down to 9, 8, 6, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. It's just a bit unfortunate, that Chicago looked really good, and maybe they can compete for a wild card spot. In my power rankings in November, they were really high. But just without Connor Bedard, it looks like it's just been a little. It's been tough. Like they were relying on him a little too much. So this shows you maybe you need to find somebody else, so that in case Bedard gets hurt again, or somebody else gets hurt, that you just need another star, co-star for this team. Spencer Knight, though, has been pretty good. He has a 2.57 goals against average, 10, 9, and 5. Save percentage of 914, which is pretty good. How many shutouts does he have? How many shutouts? Why can't I find it? Do they not show shutouts? I don't know if he has any shutouts here. We can go to Spencer Knight here. I was really impressed with Spencer Knight of some times where I've watched him play. He's been pretty good. He has 2 shutouts. They're playing. Are they playing tonight? Yep, they're playing tonight on TNT. Interesting. Against the Philadelphia Flyers. Could be an interesting game. Could be an interesting game for sure. But yeah, as you can see, recent games it hasn't been great. I mean, they were shut out 6-0 against the Kings. They did win 3-0 against the Rangers, but then lost to the Blues 3-2, lost to the Maple Leafs 3-2, and then lost to the Canadiens 4-1. But I mean, things hopefully can get better for them. I'm a fan of Chicago without Patrick Kane and Jonathan Taves. Like I want Connor Bedard to succeed. I'm a Connor Bedard fan for sure. But right now, if they wanted something for Christmas, they just want Connor Bedard to be back. They want Connor Bedard to be back. It's simple. He's so valuable to this team in a way where maybe if he played more games, if he doesn't miss as many times, could be arguable for an MVP type of player. But Connor Bedard, 44 points, 31 games played. He's averaging a point every 1.5 points a game or something like that. Here, let me do that quick math here. 31 games, 44 divided by 31. That would make he's averaging 1.5 points a game, which is that's valuable. That is valuable, and they've had trouble scoring for sure. So hey, I mean, here you go to schedule. You go to schedule and you just look at their last games. We already looked at a little bit about him, but I mean, they were winning, they were losing, obviously. But then December 13th, this I think he got hurt at St. Louis here. So the games without him. I mean, they've only actually played 1, 2, 3, 4 games without Connor Bedard. They've dropped all 4 of those. Currently on a 5-game losing streak. But if you then look at their record, subtract 4 or 5, and those were all in regulation. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, they were all in regulation. So subtract 5 because he got hurt early in the St. Louis game. Subtract 5. You were sitting at 13 and 11 and 6. That is much different than 13, 16 and 6. The point totals are different as well. So I'm saying, they were starting to win games, starting to find their flow. At least get into overtime and shootouts in a couple games, and then just did I think they were going to win the whole title, the Stanley Cup? No, but I thought they were a little more closer than. But I mean, if it's just hard. It's just hard to know here if they rely too much. But there's so many games left. They got some games against Minnesota. They got some games against St. Louis. They got some games against Colorado. They got a lot of games left. But once we hit Christmas, once we hit New Year's, once we hit the All-Star break, the Olympic break, I mean, you just gotta be aware and how you gotta see who's a contender, who's a pretender in that kind of sense. If we're going with those types of things, but yeah, for them, I would say they'd probably Blackhawk fans and the Blackhawks for Christmas. They just want Connor Bedard to get back as soon as possible, ASAP. Just because you've played 35 games, so you've played the least amount of games. You're tied for the least amount of games in your division. If you get on a little bit of a winning streak, could you slide into a wild card spot? For sure. I do think the Wild, Stars, and Avalanche will be those 3 teams winning the division, are in division spots. So I think the wild card spots are what you're going to have to face. And when you look at it, because I said it's tight, there are only 7 points out of the Utah Mammoth, and the Mammoth have played 3 more games than them. So you subtract 6 points, they're technically, they win the next 3 games, or hypothetically, right? Because they have 3 games advantage on the Utah Mammoth. If you win those, you're only like 1 or 2 points back with the same amount of games. That's a win or an overtime loss. Think about that. They're right back into it because, this division's tight. Obviously, a lot of the other division races are tight. Obviously, I mean, Canucks hypothetically could still, if they start winning out, they could end up doing well. But I just think the Pacific Division is a little weaker, and then the East is just weak in general. It is tight, but it's gonna be interesting finish to see everyone. But in general, I do think the best teams come from the Central Division. Let me know if you disagree or not. But the Winnipeg Jets, are the next team we'll talk about here, sitting at 15 and 17 and 3. And I want to go show you guys something here. The 2023-2024 season. The Winnipeg Jets finished second with 110 points, 52, 24, and 6. I am utterly shocked that they are right now seventh in in their division. They are below 500. I'm pretty sure they're not going to win 52 games this year. They've lost 17 games already. They lost 26 altogether in the entire season. And I just don't know what's going on. They're 2-5-3 in their last 10, -4 goal differential. Let's pull up some stats here. Let's see, are they what are they doing? I'm so confused. I am so confused. Scheifele, 17 goals. Okay, 26 assists. That's their point leader. Kyle Connor. Oh, it's tied with Scheifele. Kyle Connor, same exactly. 17 goals, 26 assists. Velarde, 16 goals. Morrissey, 24 assists on 5 goals as a defenseman. Pretty darn good. I want to see some goal leaders here. Barron, Niederreiter, follow Stanley. I mean, they're all giving you some depth and scoring for sure. Pinock has 2 goals. Pinock was hurt for a little bit, but I wouldn't say he's as valuable to this team as like Morrissey or someone. Connor Scheifele, a lot of assists. So does Morrissey. I mean, injuries, is that a problem? What's their injury status look like? No injuries. So they're completely healthy. That's, something that, wow. Are they just not that good? I don't even think they lost many players either. Connor Hellebuyck, what kind of season are you having? Hellebuyck, 9-8-2, 2.48 goals against average, save percentage of 912. They've also had 2 other backup goaltenders. Did he get hurt a little bit? Maybe. I don't know. He's definitely had good stats. I mean, overall, he's had good stats. Connor Hellebuyck, how many shutouts? Because he was a shutout king last year. He has 0 shutouts. Are you kidding me? Wow. Hellebuyck has 0 shutouts. That's insane. Are we witnessing a fallout of Connor Hellebuyck at 32 years old? Wow. Next game against our Minnesota Wild, a couple days after Christmas, so they're off. Great. Wild play tonight against the Predators, so the Jets are gonna have a couple days off because that's their next game. That's insane. Okay, cool. Yeah, you see, they play the Predators tonight, in Minnesota, which we will talk about the Predators in a second. But I'm really shocked at how bad the Jets have been. Obviously, they're right at 500, but for a team that won 52 games last season, I was expecting a little more. Not gonna lie. And they got off to a quick start. I mean, they won 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 out of their first 8 games, 8 of their first 10 games, or something like that. They were balling. And then they just hit a long stretch where they have been losing. They're on a 4-game losing streak currently. Yeah, I mean, it's going to be very interesting to see, how they bounce back here once we hit the new year, and if they can figure it out. Hellebuyck, what is this? Yeah, Hellebuyck. So Hellebuyck's been starting a lot. I wonder if Hellebuyck, did he get hurt? Did Connor Hellebuyck get hurt? Because there was a stretch where he didn't start. Was Hellebuyck injury? Was he injured? Oh my goodness. So goalie Connor Hellebuyck had minor knee surgery. Oh my goodness. Well, that makes sense. That makes sense a lot here. I will share this tab for y'all. Gemini for the win. Yeah, so sidelining him for 4 to 6 weeks. He made his first start about a week ago. Dang. So that's insane. That's actually insane. So he had that in training camp. So he play a little bit. He started the season and then got pulled in mid-November and then was back in wow, so it was about 4 weeks. So it wasn't even 4 to 6 weeks. He was removed from the IR. Yeah, yep. He's aiming for the Olympics. Okay, cool. So he had that surgery so he could play in the Olympics. Very well. So he could have played, but then probably couldn't play in the Olympics. Okay, cool. Very interesting. That changes a lot of things. That changes my view on the Jets a little bit. They can for sure pick it up. And I said, 15, 17, and 3. Not the worst record, but I'm saying in a competitive division, now you're looking probably at a wild card spot just because the top 3 teams are so in a way good. They're very good. I mean, the Wild, the Stars, the Avalanche, they're all very talented teams. Most likely going to be the top 3 teams in the Central Division at the end of the season. We got the Nashville Predators. The Predators, low-key going to say they were at the bottom of the league for a long time, and they've been kind of picking it up. The Predators are 7-3 in their last 10 games. Congratulations. Congratulations to the Nashville Predators. The Predators sit at 15, 16, and 4, 6th in the Central Division. And I want to take a little look at how are you guys performing? How are you guys performing? Well, we'll take a look at that here. Predators, load for me. 30 points for Ryan O'Reilly. He has 10 goals and 20 assists, 16 goals, 12 assists for Philip Forsberg. Evangelista has 5 goals, 19 assists, 14 goals for Steven Stamkos. Yossi has 2 goals and 13 assists. He's a -7, though. Very interesting. How are we performing? UC Saros, 27 games played, 13, 11, and 3. Goals against average under 3. He has a save percentage under 900. Okay, very interesting. How many shutouts does he had? These are some stats that we take a look at just because I feel like he's had 1 or 2. Yeah, no, 0. Okay. That is crazy. Next game against the Minnesota Wild tonight. He'll be starting tonight. Maybe he'll give up a couple more goals. I mean, I think the Wild win tonight. By no means. I mean, like, it's pretty much a gimme here at this point. Not a gimme, but like, you better win. You better win. If you don't win here, that's going to be a little disappointing. But you're still not out of the playoffs or whatever. But I'm just saying, just beat this team. I mean, they're not that good, but they're on the rise for sure. 7-3. They've hit a little hot spot here, which is good for them because I don't think they're as bad as what their record was early on. I mean, after the 7-3, so before the 7-3, they were what? I'm trying to do quick math here. 7, 8. They were 8 and 13 and 4. I mean, that's a drastic change from 8, 13 and 4 to 15, 16 and 4. That is really well. Good job. Good job. I mean, obviously they could have maybe did they no, they're 7-3 not. They haven't suffered any overtime losses. But yeah, that's a really good excuse me. My goodness, I don't know why I keep yawning, but a very good step in the right direction for the Nashville Predators. Obviously, I think they'll probably end up 7 or 6. I'm not going to say the other way around. Probably around there somehow. I just don't think this team, I think they could be sellers. I really think they could be sellers at the trade deadline. Ryan O'Reilly, Stamkos. I think you could kind of just regroup a little bit, grab some younger guys. You guys have a really older group, but Marchessault, again, he's older. Yeah, so interesting to see what they do. But for the Predators, yeah, I mean, very chill. Very chill for the Predators. Not much to say about you guys. But, congratulations for being 7-3 in your last 10 games. And that will leave us to the next team, the St. Louis Blues, who were one of the best teams, were one of the worst teams, last season. But now, not last season. What am I saying? My gosh. At the start of the season, they were bad. And, I mean, they're picking it up. They're about 500 in their last 10 games. 14, 16, and 8 now. 36 points. 3 points back of the Utah Mammoth. And I want to take a look at some wild cards standings here because, I don't know who's exactly in a wild card spot right now. There we go. So, the Mammoth are in a wild card spot. So are the Kings. So, the Blues Sharks are the next two teams, and then you got the Kraken, Predators, Flames, Jets, Canucks, and Blackhawks. Okay, interesting. But yeah, the Blues, St. Louis Blues. I want to take a peek here again at stats. Basically, it's just a check-in. And oh, I completely forgot about what they want for Christmas. Let's go back over here. Yikes. Yikes. Let's go back over here. My bad. Oh my goodness. Guys, I've been filming podcasts all day. This is one of the last ones I'm filming today. Holy cow, guys. Chill. Chill. Winnipeg Jets, what do they want for Christmas? I would say, talking about Connor Hellebuck. Connor Hellebuck, you just want him to come back to his normal self. After that knee surgery, that changed a lot of things. That changes what I was going to initially say. I was just going to say, you need to just go back to your normal self. But no, I think Winnipeg Jets fans, or just the Winnipeg Jets in general, want Connor Hellebuck to perform like his normal self, because he could legit steal you games and then help you win games. I legit think so. He's that good of a goalie. So that's what I think they would want. And then the Predators, what they want for Christmas, I would say, I think you kind of want to sell off some of your players. I think Ryan O'Reilly should be taken away. I think you should sell Steven Stamkos. I think you should sell Jonathan Marchessault. I think those three guys, you should want to say, hey, give me some draft capital or give me some younger players on a playoff type of team, teams that need a center. Maybe could the Wild be partners with Ryan O'Reilly or Steven Stamkos? For sure. And you maybe get some of our prospects that are good that could help you in a year or so. Just teams like that. I think you want, though, to make some moves at the deadline, and I think that's what you want for Christmas. And then we'll take a look at the St. Louis Blues stats, with Robert Thomas leading the way as the team point leader at 27 points. That's just sad. Justin Falk has 10 goals. Thomas has 18 assists as those leaders. Buchnevich has 5 goals, 14 assists. Neighbors has 10 goals, 7 assists. 8 and 9 for Holloway. Kyrou 8 and 8. He's had a lot of injuries. Shen 6 and 8. Suter 7 and 7. But in general, Bukestag 4 and 1, 4-1. Team hasn't been scoring as well, but their goaltending hasn't been too bad. Jordan Binnington has saved this team a lot, despite having a goals against average of 3.44. He also has a save percentage of 870. 7-9-6 record, not too bad, but he's been saving them a lot. I've been watching a little bit of the St. Louis Blues highlights and stuff. He's been making some good saves. He's still a really good goaltender. Jordan Binnington, how old are you? I feel like you're in your early 30s. Yeah, 32. So he's the same age as Connor Hellebuck. So we got two really good old goalies and some younger goalies in Ottinger, Wallstead, Gustafson. You could maybe throw in what's his name from Chicago. I was just talking about him. What the heck? The Chicago Blackhawks goalie. My gosh, I can't think of it right now. But you got a mix of older veteran goalies and younger goalies that are going to be veterans very soon. But Jordan Binnington, I really like Binnington. There's a lot to like about him. He's, next game they're going to be playing is 2 days from Christmas on the 27th against the Nashville Predators. So that could be a fun game. I feel like any team could win that. But in general, I think the St. Louis Blues just want goal scoring. Wherever it comes, wherever that may come from, they want goal scoring. Because, we were seeing those stats. It's not ideal. It's not ideal for these team leaders. I feel like Thomas or Kyrou should, once Kyrou comes back, he should be fine. But one of those guys should have at least 20 goals on the season. And you just can't get that scoring. You need the scoring. The scoring needs to come back for the St. Louis Blues. That's what they want for Christmas. And we move on to the final team that is in like a wild card spot before we talk about the big three. So we talk about the Utah Mammoth. The Utah Mammoth, previously known as the one, the only Arizona Coyotes, sit at 17 and 3. Currently just beat the Winnipeg Jets 4-3. And they are a really fun team. Really fun team to watch. They're in a wild card spot right now. Nick Schmaltz has been the leading points total. He's tied for leading in points. So you got Keller and Smoltz both at 12 goals and 20 assists, 32 points. Keller's a +3, Smoltz is a 0. And then you got Gunther at 16 and 14 with 30 points. Petricka 14 and 13 with 27 points. Cooley with 14 and 9, 23 points. But Logan Cooley has missed a lot of games. He's played only 29 games. All those other guys have played 38 games. And then Ian Cole has had the best plus minus. He's a +16. Ian Cole, an older defenseman, a veteran, perfect for this team, 36 years old. He's a +16, 2 goals, 10 assists, 12 points. What's he averaging, on time on ice here? He's averaging about 18 minutes a night. I really like that for Ian Cole. Congratulations for that, bro. That's so good. And then I want to see some goaltending stats here. Whenever this decides to load. Yeah, there we go. Wow, Vanacek and Vachetma both under 3 goals against average, but both under 900 save percentage. Very interesting. I don't think they've had many shutouts as well. Somebody can look that up if they want it. But in general, I think the Utah Mammoth, what they want here for Christmas, I know I'm kind of going through these a little quicker, is, I like the team that they're built around here with the offense and the defense. I just don't think the goalie right now is going to do it. I think you need another goalie. So I think what they want for Christmas is some sort of trade. Maybe you trade a goalie swap like we saw with Skinner and Jari, something similar to that. Maybe you try to get a better goalie than you're giving up, and maybe add in a draft pick or a prospect. But I think the Utah Mammoth, if they want to compete in the playoffs, they need a goalie who can steal them games. We've heard it before, and I'm going to say it again. Goalies are going to help you win in the National Hockey League. You need a good starting goaltender, and I just don't think what they have is enough. But that's my opinion. Let me know down in the comments down below what your opinion on the Utah Mammoth is. But then this is where probably why everybody clicked on this episode, because we'll talk about the big three now: the Minnesota Wild, the Dallas Stars, the Colorado Avalanche. What do they want for Christmas? Well, what they each want for Christmas is to be better than the other two, because these three are going to go back and forth the entire rest of the season, because they are all very, very talented. They all have their strengths, not a lot of weaknesses. Both have great goalies. Both have great goalie duos. Both goalie tandems are great. Both have a great defenseman. Both have a great scorer. They are so similar. They're like built. They all have good coaches as well. They're all built fairly the same. There's some differences, some minor differences, but overall, they just want to be better than the other. Dallas has been rumored. They are looking at a bigger trade because, once that Quinn Hughes move comes in, now Colorado and Dallas are saying, well, now I need to be better than them, than Minnesota, because they made a push to be better than us. And then Minnesota, I don't think Minnesota's done yet. And that's why I teased the Sidney Crosby trade idea, because the Minnesota Wild, if it's not Sidney Crosby, need a number one center, because if anything, that is their weakness. They do not have a number one center. Ryan Hartman and Danilo Yurov, I like as centers. Do not think there will be enough to win you enough draws. They will not win you enough draws in a playoff series, and possession is what you need to score goals. And to win games, you need to score goals. Obviously, you need goalies. The goalies are not a problem for any of those three teams. It is keeping possession for the Wild, and you need possession by winning faceoffs, so you need a number one center. For the Dallas Stars are a little thin when it comes down to the third and fourth line. Third and fourth line are great. I like a lot of their players on there, but you need some more depth, and I think you can get there by trading away draft capital or prospects as well. You can get there easily. Dallas, and then Colorado Avalanche, they're 26-2-7. They don't really have a weakness, but it's shown that the Stars and the Wild can beat them. So I think what they want is they're just going to try to figure out how to deepen up their roster as well. So the Wild obviously need a center, and then the Stars and Avalanche are just trying to deepen up their roster. Maybe add another big name player if you're the Stars. I just don't know if the Avalanche have that cap space because you're paying Makar and McKinnon so much. Also, Landeskog and Nichushkin are making quite a lot of money as well. But Stars have some money to throw away. Do we see maybe Jamie Benn get traded? Possibly. Tyler Seguin, maybe one of those older guys that can help another team, but also then the Stars get a good return. But yeah, I think the Minnesota Wild need a center as well because they're all very good teams. They're all going to be the top 3 teams in the league, I'm pretty sure, for the rest of the season. When you look at the entire NHL standings, you see they're number 1, 2, 3. The Hurricanes, the Red Wings, the Ducks, they're all a couple points behind the Wild. The Wild, though, are just going to keep on winning. They're 7-3 in their last 10. The Stars are going to keep on winning. They're 8-2 in their last 10. The Avalanche are 8-1-1 in their last 10. Those 3 teams, I believe, are going to keep winning. If anything, they'll go 500 in their next 10 games, and then in their next 10 games, they'll go about 500. They're not going to lose more games than they win more games. If anything, they're going to continue to win games, making them very, very good. The Colorado Avalanche have also played 2 less games than the Stars and the Minnesota Wild. And they're already super good. But when you look at the standings, right here, Stars, 2 wins away from tying the point total of the Colorado Avalanche. The Minnesota Wild are 2.5 games away from tying the points total of the Dallas Stars. Everybody is so close. The Wild, if they win 5 straight and the Avalanche start to lose games or just don't play games in general, would be tied with the Colorado Avalanche. Obviously, catching the Colorado Avalanche, I do think it's going to be a little hard. But I'm saying, who says no? Who says the Wild? Who says the Stars can't win the division? Colorado's good, but the Stars and the Wild are also very talented. If you're a fan of those teams, you know who's doing well. In general, you know who's doing well. We're not going to look exactly at team by team stats, but we're going to look at the NHL stats in general here. Here on NHL.com /stats if you want to find this for yourself. In summary, Connor McDavid is the best player in the league right now. 23 goals and 39 assists. But then, when you look at the top 10 in points, you see Nathan MacKinnon, Martin Necas, Jason Robertson, Cale Makar, Matt Boldy, Kirill Kaprizov, all in the top 15 of points in the NHL. You also add in the game people I didn't mention. Mikko Rantanen. I completely forgot about him. He's on Dallas. Connor Bedard, Scheifele, Kyle Connor. Let me just count. In the top 15, Kaprizov, Boldy, Makar, Connor, Scheifele, Robertson, Bedard, Necas, Rantanen, and Nathan MacKinnon. 10 of the top 15 point leaders in the NHL come from the Central Division. If you don't agree with what I said at the top of the show, that the Central Division is the hardest division to play in sports, this is just one example. 10 of the top 15 point leaders are in the Central Division, some on the same team. Then when you look at goalies, Jesper Wallstedt, Jake Ottinger. Let's just go to wins are different because people play different amount of games, but save percentage. Utah's goalie. Now, yes, Vachemka, I said, is not going to be enough. In the regular season, he's great, but I don't think he's enough for the playoffs. But hey, I could be totally wrong. But in the top 10 goalies, for save percentage, you got Vachemka, Ottinger, Wedgwood, Saros. So there's 4 in your top 10. If you expand to the top 20, you add Gustafsson, you add Jesper Wallstedt. If you go to goals against average, because that is more what I like to talk about. And I want to go to minimum games played because some of these people, hold on. I just want 25 rows. Hold on. Okay. Well, yeah, game started. I want only starting goalies. My gosh. I wish you could, hold on, let me go to NHL Edge Advanced Stats because that's just easier. But anyway, you get the idea. I mean, you get the idea, but goalies here. I mean, they're talking about Quinn Hughes here. Yeah. I just want I just literally want, there we go. 5-on-5 save percentage. I want a list of, oh gosh, there we go. There you go. That's what I wanted. Thank you. Jesper Wallstedt, Mackenzie Blackwood, Casey DeSmith, Scott Wedgwood, Spencer Knight. That's the dude I was talking about. Philip Gustafsson. There you go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of the top 10 goalies with save percentage are in the Central Division. That is all I was trying to find for you guys. That was making it way too hard. So, despite having top 10 of the top 15 point leaders in the NHL, the Central Division has 6 of the top 10 goalies with the save percentage. Goals against average. Doesn't have it right here. But anyway, save percentage is probably the best. It's just the best. That's with adding players, but save locations, whatever. I'm just saying in general, that's all I was trying to find. It sometimes makes it way too hard. But I'm telling you, if you don't agree that the Central Division is the hardest division to play in the NHL, and I could even say could be in the hardest division to play in all of sports, I mean, this is just proof. There's so much talent on the ice, even on the teams who aren't as good right now. The Predators have UC Saros, one of the best goalies in the league. Roman Josi, one of the best defensemen recently. I think he is digressing a little bit. You look at the Blues, Binnington. You look at Jets. They're not that bad, but their record's bad right now. But they got Hellebuck. They have Connor. They have Scheifele. The Blackhawks have Bedard. They got Spencer Knight. The Stars, we know who they have. We know who the Avalanche have. We know who the Wild have. The Mammoth have Clayton Keller, Logan Cooley, Nick Schmaltz. I mean, I've named good players from every single team. Players everybody knows. They're all good, and they're all statistically good. So for those big three, the Wild, the Stars, and the Avalanche, what they want for Christmas is they just want to end up being better than the other two. They're just trying to make the most amount of moves that will make them better than those teams. Because one of those three teams, write that down right now, one of those three teams are winning the Stanley Cup. One of those three teams are winning the Stanley Cup. I don't care. I don't care what you guys think because those three teams are the best teams in the league right now. And it sucks. It sucks that one of those teams are going to be eliminated in the first round of the playoffs. We got to change that format, boys. Come on, NHL. You cannot have the 2 and 3 seed of the division play each other in the first round of the playoffs. If the playoffs were today, the Minnesota Wild would play the Dallas Stars in the first round of the playoffs. And then in the second round, most likely the Avalanche would move on in their matchup too. Then it would be Avalanche versus the winner of Stars and Wild. So then one of those teams are going to be eliminated. 2 of the top 3 teams in the NHL are going to be eliminated in the first 2 rounds. NHL, we got to fix that. More of that. More of that to come in January of 2026 or maybe February of 2026 in season 2 of Inside the Zone with Mateo. But stay tuned and hit that like button, hit that subscribe button so you never, ever miss an episode of Inside the Zone with Mateo. But anyway, that's going to do it for today's episode. Hope you guys, did enjoy it. And one thing before we end the episode today, and we will take a look at what is coming up the rest of December 2025 here on Inside the Zone with Mateo as we wrap up season 1 and look ahead to season 2 of Inside the Zone with Mateo. We will continue this little mini series of what do teams want for Christmas. We'll talk about a little bit of the MLB teams coming up later and what teams in the NFL teams want for Christmas. I think we'll either combine that with our week 17 show or do it another day. I don't know. I'm not quite sure about it quite yet. But speaking of our week 17 show, we will have our NFL weekly show coming to you guys on Wednesday. That will be our week 17 show. We got NBA Christmas games preview. There's a bunch of good games in the NBA on Christmas Day. We will be giving you a preview show of that. That is coming out soon. And then, I completely forgot about this, but the Pro Bowl rosters just got released, and so I will be filming a quick episode on that later up today, so that will be posted up later today. Turn that notification bell button so you never miss that episode as well. Me reacting to the Pro Bowl rosters. I got no idea who the heck is on it. I have an idea, but I know a couple teams have a lot of players, but I don't know who exactly made it. But anyway, then next week, after the week of Christmas, as we head into the last week of December, I will do my monthly NHL and NBA power rankings where we rank them every month rather than every week for the NFL because the NFL season is short enough where it's only 18 weeks. So we do it every week, but we do it every month for the NHL and NBA just because it's a longer season. And I will be redrafting the last 5 NBA drafts in a couple weeks. And then we'll power rank who is left in MLB free agency, who's the best assets still out there for teams, and where could they potentially sign. More Kingdom Competitors episodes will be coming out every single Sunday. And then to start off season 2 of Inside the Zone with Mateo, it will be our 2026 prediction show. As normal, we will predict a bunch of things for 2026, including champions of leagues and just maybe other awards and just other predictions to go with 2026. But yeah, that's gonna come up. There's a lot coming up still here on Inside the Zone with Mateo for season 1, and then season 2 is gonna be just as good. So hit that like button, and hit that subscribe button. Don't forget to keep God first because He is the most important thing in your lives. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.